They brought us to this country as a labor force. We built a foundation and they hate us for it. They hate us for it. We built a foundation and they ain't pay us for it. They ain't pay us for it, but they gon' pay for it. Already prayed for it. Non-believers didn't pray for us. Non-believers didn't pray for us. We're black and we built a foundation. Stone by stone, generation to generation. Vultures said we had no culture. Them vultures got a Jay-Z poster. Them vultures got a lacy culture. Vultures eat what they didn't kill. Vultures sleep what they didn't build. They brought us to this country as a labor force. We built a foundation and they hate us for it. We built a foundation and they ain't pay us for it. They ain't pay for it, but they gon' pay for it. Already paid for it. Nobody prayed for it. Nobody didn't pray for us. Nobody didn't pray for us. We're black and we built a foundation. Stone by stone, generation to generation. Vultures said we had no culture. And vultures got a Jay-Z poster. Them vultures got a lacy poster.
Yeah, peace to the family. We here. Couple things to knock out, and start with this one. I was gonna address a couple things at one time, but felt like, why not? What's the rush? Why not doing one at a time? Okay, so people have been responding to the Pan-African's leader, which we always knew it was Dr. Umar Johnson. So he came out, and it looked like he definitely inspired. Hold on. Okay. It looks like he's definitely inspired by FBA Adolf delineation movement. People confuse the movement with the name, the rebranding of the lineage. The rebranding of the lineage is FBA, some say ADOS. ADOS stands for American Descendants of Slavery. FBA stands for Foundational Black American. And people have been coming up against us, first of all, rejecting the need to delineate and disaggregate the data. They came to our spaces, they debated with us, and we were able to thoroughly convince them that delineation is needed and is going to happen, right? Regardless to if you want to argue for reparations or not, delineation and disaggregation. Matter of fact, when I did my video, you should go check out of Black History Month or Negro Week, the origins of Negro Week. I actually showed you how the conversation of reparations even started and the need to delineate and self-identify or rebrand the lineage. Okay. That showed you how that even came to be. That's the origins of Negro Week, but it's also the origins of delineation, right? Many people came out against it. Like I said, to no avail. We were able to argue our talking points very successfully. So much so that the leader of Pan-Africanism has said, you know what? Fine, we should delineate, but he just felt like he's going to choose his own acronym. Okay, he ain't going to go with any black people who are proud to be American. The average Pan-African, if you talk to them, they're very unpatriotic, right? They hate to say they're American, and this is just a that's just unfortunate. But what's ironic is that if you are not American, then you're deportable. That's the problem. It's like, well, give up your citizenship if you don't want to be American. But American just shows you that you are a legal citizen living in the United States. Okay, so for us Black Americans, we were born into citizenship as native Black Americans to the United States. We're foundational to America. So it's our alienable right to be a citizen. You know, it's impossible to peel off. So when you think of America, you 100% think of Black Americans. It's like is like our last name. Okay. Anyway, so Dr. Umar Johnson, he tethered on to our delineation movement and the need to delineate. And then he said, hey, he made up a whole new acronym for Pan Africans. And that's what they are now. We're going to call them by their new name. Okay. Now, what's it again? I think he called them the fuck, D.A.F.U.K, if my memory serves me right. If not, we'll just play it from his own words. Okay, so I'm going to actually play Tariq Nasheed going over, doing a recap of Dr. Umar's latest interview. Okay, so let's get into it. Give me a second. I must say he is I personally can't take him seriously at all, but I must admit he is very funny. I don't think he planned to be, but take a look.
American African people seeing the need to make it clear to other branches of the global African family that when you come here, you need to be clear that we built the house and rolled out the carpet for you. Be respectful in my home the same way you would want for me to be respectful in your home.
So if you guys were not around, I think I called it sometime in the summer. I said, do not be surprised if Dr. Umar grift and try to be the leader. There's no such thing as a leader of a lineage, but he does the things that's you can't do. Okay. Now I said, hey, don't be surprised if he try to grift over to where we're at and try to be the leader. I said, that sounds like a from his pattern. I'm good with Patterns family. I predicted this way back in the summer. Nobody on earth said this before me. Way back in the summer, I said I could see him grifting towards this delineation movement and being the leader, trying to be the leader of it. Here we are. He's sounding just like us. Okay. So he ain't do it exactly the way I said he would do it. I thought he would try to just take over FBA or ADOS as the so-called leader, but he gonna do his own thing. But he's definitely trying to be the leader of it. Good thing he doesn't confuse it with a lineage. He calls it a movement, or yeah, that's what he calls it. Okay, check this out.
So the concept of that American African identity,
American African? What's that?
I have no issue with it. It needs to be done. It needs to be said. This is not new.
Wait, so did he just say American African? Because he's so against that word American, and he finally said it, but he's going to contradict himself later.
So the concept of that American African identity,
American African? What's that?
Yeah, we never ever said American African. This is his language.
I have no issue with it. It needs to be done. It needs to be said. This is not new. What is new about it is the adversarial stance that they are taking towards African immigrants who come here from the diaspora, and the energy the negative energy that they give them.
Okay, so all this is projection. He's projecting what people do to us on us, saying we do to people. So again, if you go back and check my video that's called The Origins of Negro Week or something like that, I was in there is a detailed information on how we came to delineate, and nothing about it was addressing immigrants. We were addressing our government for benign and neglect and other things. But we make no mistake, we were addressing our government. There's nothing in the word delineate that includes anybody other than the people delineating. There's nothing in the word disaggregate. You're trying to disaggregate information. Those two words have nothing to do with negative energy. It has nothing to do with being xenophobic or divisive. Okay? You delineate when you believe your ethnicity is being diluted with other people who are not from your ethnicity. It's causing, like, the public is starting to be confused and thinking that you are other people. You know, I should have looked up those Egyptians in Egypt. They are occupied or colonized by Arabs, but they are different. Matter of fact, as this play out, I'm going to look at that. Want to see how they delineate.
And this is the horse crap right here, ladies and gentlemen. These people always frame people of our lineage as being hostile to these poor little immigrants. They come over, they just have a little bag of beans and some egusi. They just want to whack, and we're just beating up on the poor little innocent immigrants. That's a horse crap narrative. That, ladies and gentlemen, the framing of that, and they love framing this false narrative that people of our lineage are just beating up on these poor little innocent, harmless people who just want to come over and do better. That's not true, ladies and gentlemen. They always ignore all the vitriolic things these people do when they get over here. Not even when they get over, even back home. But they always ignore all the Myron Gaines and all the Akata talk. All parts of Africa, they have pejorative terms for us. They all have negative terms for us. The whole vibe is when you get over there, stay away from the Akata, stay away from the Yankees, stay away from the Jareers. There's always these negative tropes for us, but it never gets called out. They never call these things out. And for the longest, many continental Africans have been getting a pass. They've been getting a pass for a lot of stuff that they've done for a long time. They always make excuses for the little janky stuff that they do, even their role in the slave trade. Oh, they didn't know no better. The white man came and tricked them. Yeah, I know they call you an Akata and they say they gotta stay away, but the white man showed them a video during the immigration process, and the video showed negative. So it's always somebody that tricked them, somebody that done something to them. So they've been skirting responsibility. They've been not held accountable for shit. Now they're being held accountable. That janky stuff ain't gonna fly no more. The foundation of Black American lineage is tired. You calling these people out. Y'all gonna stop all that bullshit. Your little scams that you do. If you do a scam, you're doing your scam as an immigrant. You're not going to do it and hide under blackness when it's convenient. You're not going to take all your wins and hoard them for yourselves and then throw your losses on us. You're not going to be like Shabuzi. You win a country Grammy and hop on stage talking about, shout out to the immigrants. Yeah, we immigrants built this country. Have a good night. We're not doing that. You're going to get called out for that.
Bruh.
It's accountability time. They've been skirting accountability for a long time.
Let him cook. Let him cook now.
They've been skirting accountability, and this is the first time that they've been held accountable by us because we're the only people who's helping them. We've been the only people. And we're the first to get thrown under the bus by them, and we're saying enough is enough. It's a whole new day, and this delineation is whooping that ass because we're not even harming them. We're just saying, hey, okay, do you, okay, whatever, culturally, you got it popping. Okay, this is our culture here. So now if we don't lend them our culture, oh, you're doing something to us, you hate us. No, you're not going to gaslight us. This is the new norm. But let me play some more of the Prince of Panda Express.
No.
All right, just rock with me. Fair use again, just fair use. And if there's any commercials, y'all watch it. All right, I'm gonna skip through those if there's any commercials. All right, hold on.
Which supersedes the negative energy you give to the white men who enslaved you then and oppresses you now. There's nothing a continental African immigrant can do to me that can supersede what the white man has done to me.
See, that right there, that's that, don't make them accountable. What? Don't look at him, look at the white man. Don't look at me, no. This whole thing, we're supposed to give them a pass because they ain't white? No. That's that whole thing. We're supposed to excuse everything they do. We're supposed to just not say nothing because they ain't white. So if they do something, but the Trump, look at the white man over there, he doing it too. No. The difference is, I know when he's coming, he's going to be with some bullshit. I know, I could see the white supremacists coming. And when he's coming, I'm already getting my defenses ready because I know it's going to be some BS. You, on the other hand, you're trying to look and act like us, and you're sitting right next to me.
Let him
as
cook
if
now.
You are my brother, while you're undermining me. You are equally, or hell, more dangerous than him because you're right up under me with his mindset. So yeah, I'm going to watch your ass. I'm going to watch him if a Myron Gaines sitting next to us. Yeah, he's going to be very dangerous. He's right up on you. Yeah? Using his melanin. So everybody can be held accountable. You're not going to get a pass because you ain't white.
If you
do something
later.
janky, you're going to be held accountable at this point. We've given people a pass long enough. They've been using the I'm just a bitch ass nigga. They've been using that pass. You know in the movie Friday with Michael Blackson, he's up there talking crap, and then they Ice Cube started, and was it Ice Cube whooped on him? And then he started, please, I'm just a bitch ass nigga. They've been using the I'm just a bitch ass nigga defense for a long time. Please, I'm just weak. I don't know no better. I'm hungry. I just want food. Oh, okay. We came back. All right. We've given them a pass on that. We've given them a hunger pass. We ain't doing that no more. Get your hungry ass over there and chill out. Don't be up in our business because, see, we got the Congressional Black Caucus full of these people who's infiltrating our policy that's affecting us politically. So it's a whole different vibe now. We got Byron Donalds and people like that out here hopping out. Hey, I want to represent black people, and yeah, nobody should get reparations because I'm Jamaican and Panamanian and I can't get it. So yeah, we ain't nobody gonna get it. We got Wes Moore, who from a tether background, no, undermining us politically. Obama undermining us politically. Kamala Harris undermining us politically. We're not going to ignore them and say, "Well, the white man be doing it too. Ain't nothing they can do that's gonna supersede the white man." If you're doing the bidding of the white man, we have to treat you both the damn same. If you're doing the bidding of them, we're going to treat you both the same. You don't get a pass because you got some damn melanin. No. Those days are over where they just get this hunger immunity. No, those days are over. All right, let me play some more. Hold on.
Before you do that, let me show you how Egyptians, like I said, they live in Egypt and they're being occupied and colonized by Arabs, right? And from the outside looking in, you would think they're all Arab, or you would think they all Egyptian. But let me just tell you how they got there. So before the 7th century, Egypt was primarily Coptic Christian, right? And the language was Coptic. It was derived from ancient Egyptians, right? The identity was Arab. This is before the 7th century. I made a mistake. Their identity was Egyptian, not Arab, is what I want to say. Arab Muslim armies conquered Egypt. Okay, they conquered a lot of North Africa. And over centuries after that conquering, Arabic replaced Coptic as the dominant language. Islam became majority religion, doing the opposite of white T man. Egypt became integrated into the broader Arab Islamic world. So today, Egypt, they speak Arabic. Egypt is part of the Arabic League, and most Egyptians identify as culturally Arab. All right. Egyptians can identify along multiple lines simultaneously. Egyptian, that's their nationality. Uh, Arab, that's their language, right? Or their cultural, that's their culture. Muslim or Christian, you got some Christians over there, that's their religion. They're North African, they're Afro-Asiatic, and they're Pharaonic heritage, right? So even though Egypt is classified as Arab, many Egyptians draw distinctions in several ways. That's called delineate. Okay, so even though they look just like, they sound like same everything, they got with Arabs, they draw a line. Hey, don't get it twisted. In the late 19th and 20th century, some intellectuals promoted Egypt as a civilization, state older than Arab identity. All right. So what they got going on is that ancient Egypt, Nile Valley continuity, pre-Arab civilization, unique Egyptian nationalism, right? Secular nationalists, some Coptic Christians, anti-pan Arab thinkers. Yes, that is a phrase, family. Pan Arab. And a lot of Egyptians are anti-pan Arab thinkers. All right. This was strongest during the early 20th century before Nasser's pan Arabism. If y'all don't believe that's a thing, look it up. All right. Everybody want to do this pan thing, but look at this. Wait. What's the Pan Arab flag? Look at that. You gotta be kidding me. Family, this gotta be clickbait. The Pan Arab colors are red, black, and green. This is why when I go live, y'all better tap in every time. If you never seen my live, then go watch it. If you missed it or what I meant. Look at this shit. Whoever known this. The Pan Arab colors are red, black, and green. This is all of them at the bottom. Yeah, you can't make this up, my guys, my sisters. The Pan Arab flag is red, black, and green. Wow. Man. Oh my God. Pan. Wait, let's get the pan. I cannot, but yeah, that is crazy. All right. So the Egyptians are against this. So Pan Arabism, I didn't make this up, is a 20th century political and cultural ideology advocating for the unity, solidarity, and at times political integration of Arab countries and people from North Africa to Western Asia, rooted in shared language, culture, and history. It peaked in the 1950s, 1960s under leaders like Gamal Abdel Nasser, focusing on resisting Western colonialism and achieving self-determination. Family, these guys ain't even Pan-Africans. They're Pan-Arabs. They are Pan-Arabs. They're not even Pan-Africans. Well, so now you know what we're gonna call them Pan-Arabs, and their leader is Dr. Umar, and their movement is the fuck or whatever he calls it. All right, so y'all got it, fam. I didn't make this up. You see it. Pan-Arabs. Um, Many Egyptians will say we are Arab culturally and linguistically, but ethnically Egyptian. See? Uh, and we're saying that with FBAs. A Foundation Black American can be culturally Muslim or Christian or Hebrew, whatever the hell you want to get into. And you can speak their dialect. But ethnically, you're still FBA. So can you be FBA and a Pan-African? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, in my mind, it's like kind of doesn't make any sense, but you can be that. So that distinction rests on ancient population continuity, genetic studies showing strong Nile Valley continuity, recognition that Arab historically refers to tribes from the Arabian Peninsula. Uh, Sometimes they might accept the phrase Arabization, but they reject full ethnic replacement. So they understand that they've been mixed, but they're not full Arabs at all. So this is actually similar to how Mexicans speak Spanish but are not ethnically Spanish. See, Brazilians speak Portuguese but not Portuguese, right? So language doesn't equate to total ancestry. All right. So now with that in mind, let's talk about how they delineate. There's a lot more there. I'll talk about another live, right? But I want to get into or I might stop right there and pick it up. Yeah, let me stop right there. But I want to show you that the Egyptians are Arabized, but they're not Arabs. That's all. That's the whole point. But they delineated. You see, they say, hell, don't, no. We're Egyptians. Don't get that twisted.
Hold on. All right, here we go.
There's nothing a instead Caribbean, of trying to Central South American well, immigrant can do to me that can exceed what the white man has done to me. So why is it I can have so?
He said there's nothing they can do to exceed. Bro, that's not what we're doing. Like, we're not saying, well, because you ain't gonna go as far as a white man, you're good. We're gonna just focus on the white man. You can talk about us, undermine, sabotage, but because, I mean, bro, in that case, then let's not complain about Mexicans, Latinos being racist. Let's not complain about the Asians and the hair shops. Let's give everybody a pass and only address white supremacy. That's really wise, right? That's stupid. That's stupid.
So much vitriol, hatred,
Projection,
disrespect, animosity towards someone who looks like me just because they came from another place.
Okay, now that's all projection. We heard countless non-FBAs who are from the diaspora or the continent of Africa say the most wildest things about FBAs for no reason. And most recently, the woman that was on the Daily Rapper crew who said Black Americans are dirty, all of us. And they're never going to speak to that. If they do, they won't speak to that with so much passion and expression. Look at his face. Like, he's just so offended. All straw man projections.
None of us are like that. See this false framing? Not one of us think like that. We don't care. We are not that emotionally invested. We're the only ones who helped them get over here. You can't have all this vitriol and hatred and you're helping the people get here. We don't have no hatred for nobody. All that animosity. No, we don't. We don't care. They got it for us. A lot of them got jealousy and all. It's the same. They got the same tribalism mindset that they had back home, and then they bring it over here and project it onto us. We aren't going to their homelands, infiltrating their political structure, trying to undermine them. Everything constructive they got that we made a lane for them. Come on now. This false framing. Hold on.
When the white man who's responsible for my hell here, I'm never giving him half that energy. And then on top of that,
and that's we all, it's always up with us with the white tea supremacy.
Yeah, hey, family, that made, look, I'm gonna stop even being gaslit on that. That made no sense at all. That you gaslighting, bro. Anybody, all undermining, sabotaging energy is negative, man. Ain't no hierarchy. It's all negative.
it's contradictory in this way. You still identify with the white man.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God!
You are a black American?
Yes.
Since when?
Since we got citizenship. Did this guy say since? See, now these nonsensical talking points. Now that host, no, everybody's not a host, man. Well, everybody's not unbiased. Like, I'm not gonna, like, y'all see me even like draw out the best of FBAs who be on this panel. I don't even let them say any other thing. And remember the conversation we had about Chauncey, Kamala Harris. You know, I let the brother pass for a second, but he said it again. I was like, all right, brother, listen. And then the other brother called in and said the Zulus, Shaka and them defeated the English in the First War. I said, bro, stop. These are FBAs. And then another guy said Biden wrote the first violent crime control bill, or he sponsored it first. I said, bro, I think that was the Reagan administration, but he was 10 toes. Looked it up. It was the Reagan administration. Biden signed off on it, but it was the Reagan administration stuff. So, yeah. So I don't even let my own family, like, just say any old thing. You know, we got to speak, you know, we got to be correct when we speak. But this host, to let Dr. Umar, I'm going to call him Dr. Fulmar, for this host to let Dr. Fulmar, sit here and shit, Dr. Seuss could do his comedy. To let him say, when did we become American? And he just stayed quiet. It's like, dude, so you just let your host, you let your guests just say any old thing, my guy? They don't got to maintain no integrity.
Still identify with the white man.
Uh-oh.
You are a black American?
Yes.
Since when?
Since the beginning of the country.
So you'll call yourself an American?
Yeah.
But you'll never call yourself an African?
Because we're not continental Africans.
Yeah, and what sense are we African? Like, nobody will ever refute that we are American citizens. Some of our culture and ways are American. Like, what? How can you argue that we're more African than American? That's wild.
What about that now? After all I've been through in this country, I'm still going to wave their flag.
That's our flag.
Family, where he's saying it just don't make any sense. So we're not American? You're not American? You're not an American citizen? Then go back. Then, yeah, go home. Go fix your homeland then. Where you from, my guy?
After all I've been through in this country, I'm still going to use their colors. After everything I've been through in this country, I'm still going to identify with the plantation and call myself an American. So I don't have an issue with the concept. I take issue with the strategies. And
So are we supposed to identify with the other white man who colonized all over Africa?
No.
Because if you identify with the nation states over there, you're still identifying with the white man. Yeah, they colonized Africa all over.
Yeah, so I'm learning, family. I'm getting better and better at this. I'm learning not to be gaslit anymore. I spoke to Chad Smith earlier, and I spoke to Khalid earlier, and I told them both, I said, yo, I'm going to approach this differently going forward, right? Because I'm addressing the gaslit and, the gaslit points, and I'm going to just stay focused, You'll see. It's going to be a change over here, how I communicate. I'm not going to let them gaslight me as easily anymore. All that what he's saying, I'll just ignore it. He's like, oh, I'll just say, hey, that's not true, and then just move on.
We are the people who represent what America is supposed to mean. The white supremacists don't even represent that. We represent all the greatness of what America is supposed to be. See, that's us.
Right. And which he gonna break down earlier. That I'm gonna ad lib to that. But the question should be asked back, like, yo, so we're not American citizens? Like, we didn't fight for citizenship? That wasn't what the Civil War was about? It was about something else? Like, put me on. Like, what was it about then? Why did we fight in it? What were we hoping to gain from it? And was citizenship one of those things to gain? Like, the dude is a cherry picking, self-proclaimed historian. I'm talking about Dr. Cap.
That is us. That is us. We are Americans. We're not claiming a distant land that we've not been on for half a millennia from the people who sold us. And we're supposed
to. I just can't get over this right here. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, this right here. I'm stuck on this, man. Their red, black, and green flag ain't even African in the sense how it's Pan-Arab. Oh my God.
Supposed to claim them? Huh? Who sold half of us, because a lot of us were already here. We'll get on that in a minute. We're supposed to claim the folks who sold half of us and then made us walk around trees to forget.
Let him cook now.
The little janky shit they were doing, and we're supposed to reach back and identify with that?
No, sir. And see, that's why they don't want to have these real conversations. Why reach out to somebody who kicked you out their country? Who said, get out of here, go. Nah, we're good. We went, and here we are.
A nation that ain't even there no more, because we've been here longer than many of the current nation states. Those nations aren't even there no more. Yeah, we're not going to identify with a non-existent abstract body of land that's been carved out and remixed and has no historical legitimacy anymore. We've shaped our culture and our history right here on this land. The world has been dealing with systematic white supremacy, not just here. They're going through it too. They went through colonization and their own form of oppression there. We went through a form of oppression here. The great thing about us, we never signed a deal. They signed all types of treaties and all types. So they legitimized the white supremacists to a certain degree. We've never legitimized them. It's always been up with foundational Black Americans. We've never signed a deal legitimizing white supremacy. None of it. No. We're the only people who can say we've never done that. That makes us different. Let me play the rest. Let me play the rest, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Hold on.
About if someone is saying that, all right, we look at anyone that is putting in our place and getting access to resources that belong to us because they built their core wealth off coerced labor from our people, but you can come in as an African, as a quote unquote immigrant and get certain access to things that maybe the foundational Black Americans, what they call themselves, believe that, that's our stuff. And so I don't look at the African any different than I look at any other, ethnic group that comes over and tries to take that place.
If that's the case, Where is your campaign against the Latinos? Shut up!
Man. Really? Yeah, we go in on that too. The hell we don't. Man, come on. Yeah, we call that out too. Also, the Latinos can't tether onto us because we see that they are an ethnic other. So they can't come in tethering on us. They can't jump up where they jump up on the minority benefits, but anything, the minute we do something black, the same people who would tell us they ain't black, they're Nigerian, they're not black, they're Ghanaian, they're not black, they're Jamaican. The minute we do something black or have some kind of black benefit, we have a Juneteenth scholarship, all of a sudden, all these people with these African last names and these Afro-Caribbean last names are jumping up there trying to get it. The Latinos can't do that. The pale Latinos, the white passing ones can't do that. So yeah, watch these bad faith arguments.
Okay, so that right there, that's how, when I first did the live covering this myself before Tariq reaction, right? That's how I responded. But I realized we both were gaslit. This is how we should respond to that going forward. Everybody in the chat.
That comes over in certain, look at the play.
Campaign against the Latinos, because I don't. Where is your campaign against the Latinos? Because I don't see it.
You see that? The Latinos, family. We don't have a campaign against Latinos. We don't believe all Latinos are bad. See, so we fell for that. And that kind of made us look like we're xenophobic. It's like, oh, no, we don't have no campaign against nobody. You dig?
Man.
Yeah, so that right there, cause no. We don't have a campaign against nobody. See, delineation, see, like what they did was, that was kind of slick. The doctor reworked our delineation. He made it seem like it's a campaign to complain about ethnic groups or ethnic communities. That was kind of slick. So going forward, that won't happen no more with me. Oh, well, what's your campaign against this and that group? Bro, I don't have an issue with no group. I have an issue with individuals who just so happen to be from certain groups that are undermining and disrespecting, defaming, and sabotaging or attempting to sabotage Foundation Black American, our things that we got going on.
Really? Yeah, we go in on that too. The hell we don't. Black there, people with. So yeah, watch these bad faith arguments. Hold on.
Where's your campaign against the Caucasian immigrants? I don't see it.
They're not tethering on to us.
Where's your campaign against the South Asian and North Asian?
They're not tethering.
See, family, see that? He said, what's your campaign against? He's naming entire ethnic communities. He's naming entire ethnic groups as though we have a campaign against the entire immigrant group. Nah, we have a problem. Ain't Jasmine Crockett, ain't she supposedly from the lineage? We got a problem with her and what she's doing. So no, we don't have, we got to make that very clear, family. We can't feed into what they're trying to pin us to, right? No, we're not. Shit, you got Jared Taylor running around here talking about he ain't a racist. You dig? So no. It's if a white supremacist know better, Charlie Kirk and those guys, there's certain things they won't even talk on because it's no way to win that. So no more will I respond to this as though there's some credibility here. I'm gonna reject that. Say, hey, bro, we don't have a issue with no ethnic community, my guy. You made that up and you're framing us. We have an issue with individuals of certain groups and maybe even our own. That's how I'm dealing with that going forward.
And we do call them out.
Immigrants, I don't.
But see, what I think fragmented everything is the reparation talk. And so I think the reparation talk, a lot of the foundational, I could be speaking out of school, but my limited understanding of it is, I think that they believe that the reparations belong to descendants of slaves.
Well, I'm going to say this as a Pan-Africanist, because we invented the reparations fight.
Who?
It don't come from FBA. It don't come from ADOS. This was around before they were born.
Foundational Black Americans have always been around since the beginning.
So that's him trying to pin us as a group. This is more slick talk. Oh, now I showed before who he's talking about. In 1968, it was a bunch of Pan-Africans, or as we know now, Pan-Arabs, running around the country talking about they want 5 states and they're gonna make those 5 states their own country. So basically, they're gonna become the new Confederates. They're gonna secede from the country and have their own president, military, whatever. And they were asking for $400 billion in the 1960s. Family, they had no idea the magnitude of that type of money at that time. At that time, that's like asking for $3.5 trillion today. They couldn't justify that number at all. And their reparations claim was based on the 1988 Japanese Reparations Act. So what does that mean? That means the Japanese Reparation Act of 1988 required you to prove you had lineage as a Japanese person. And not only that, not all Japanese persons were tied to this. You had to prove you were a displaced person or you were forced into an internment camp. And guess what, family? Reparations is so tight knit. Even Japanese people who went through hell in other countries, like similar things, they could not tag on to America's Reparation Act for Japanese of 1988. They had to take that up with the people, the governments who did that to them in those countries. So they were not allowed to come over here and say, "Hey, us too." No, we only deal with our own. Only our own has a claim as something that happened here. Okay, but these guys used a reparations act that was strictly for people of Japanese descent, and they were in court really arguing that. The judge was like, "Hey, can you guys prove you're a Japanese descent?" And they said no. They said, "All right, case closed," and that's a fact. So, but these are the clowns that he's saying was doing reparations before us, asking for 400 billion, 5 states, and using the Japanese Act of 1988, which is ridiculous.
Before this country. So I don't know what kind of reframing that is. Yeah, whoever started reparations were foundational Black Americans.
You feel me? Pan-Africanists gave birth to it. Reparations for me.
That's a lot. I think a sister way back like in the 1800s had got, let me see. I think a sister way back in the 1800s got some reparations. Let me see. There you go. Yes, a Black woman named Henrietta Wood successfully sued for and received monetary reparations in the 1800s. In 1878, after she sued her former kidnapper in 1870, an all-white jury in Ohio awarded her $2,500, 75,000 in today's money for her illegal reenslavement, making one of the few successful documented reparations cases in American history. Come on, family. So what is he talking about? He talking about 18. He talking about 1968 with some weirdos. 1878, baby. Almost 100 years earlier, guy.
It's not about different groups and sects of the race.
He's trying to all lives matter the reparations.
Fighting for their crumb off the big pie. This should be one fight. One reparation. Do you feel me, Loon?
No.
We can split it up how we want to split.
That's crashing it out right there. You listen to this.
Hey, thank you, Claude Neely, France. $10 super chat. He says Dr. Scanmar made a straw man argument to make it easier to argue against FBA's correct studies propaganda. You left a link in there. Let me click that link. Thank you for the super chat and lineage love. Yeah, yeah, these guys be really think tanking. Like these guys don't be coming up with stuff freestyling. They be really coming up think tanking. To okay, how are we gonna address so and so? And they said this, and that's why he conceded to our delineation movement and just said, all right, well, hell, I like he felt like he can't beat it. Like there's no argument he got, so he just said, all right, well, I'm just going to control the narrative and come up with my own acronym that's called D.A.F.U.K. D.A.F.U.C.K. I think that's it. He gonna say it later. If I'm wrong, I'll just excuse myself. But I think it's called D.A.F.U.K. But he's the leader of all Pan-Africans who are really Pan-Arabs, and yeah, that's the new name. You dig? Okay, so I was going to do this. So as he's running his mouth right there. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna play that in a second. Somebody sent me a link. All right, fam, hold on. Okay, cool. So Umar, while he's running his mouth about this reparations idea, how we should just all come together. And now this part wasn't well thought. Like, well, he thought about it, but he really ain't do the math behind that. He just running his mouth. All right, hold on 1 second.
This nonsense is done.
Split it up after we get it. But by you fighting divided for the same restitution, you playing right into the hands of your enemy.
Not the cap.
Man,
No.
Every black person on the planet should get it. Hell no. Hell no.
That's the thing. We got to work on that, Tariq, big brother. That black stuff. They're all blacks, man. And that's kind of what's causing the confusion and slowing down our delineation movement is keep regarding them as black. They're not black. We call them melanated, African descendant, African. They love to be called African. So let's call them what they want to be called, African. But by calling them black is helping their talking points because they call us African and they call themselves black. So they're even swapping that on us right before. All right. So no. Now African, those Africans or persons of African descent, we got to start getting familiar with that verbiage.
Hell no. Then you know we'll get nothing. We had to go through slavery here when these other fools were selling us. He wants the people who sold us to get a piece of, he wants them to spin the block and get some more money. Mm-hmm. That's what the African Union was trying to do. Yeah, the sixth region, our brothers. So listen, Europe, all of y'all give us, the African Union, the reparations, and we'll divvy it out the way we see fit. You know we won't get a dime if we let them damn musty Negroes get it. You know good and well we won't get
one
nothing.
For you,
hell
25
no.
for me. One for you, and
hell
the rest
no.
is for me. That's what they're going to do on us.
Come on. Hold on.
There was one slavery, took some of us to the Caribbean. There was one slavery, took some of us to...
They need to holler at CARICOM. They got CARICOM, and we're not included in CARICOM. Let them get their CARICOM on.
The Americas. There was one slavery, took some of us to Central and South America, right? But there was one African slavery. So the Africans of the world, from the continent to the British, Canada had slavery, Australia had it, right?
Let them all deal with their respective colonizers.
We should all come and sit down. Let's fight this together.
Man, ain't no dude. These folks ain't trying to fight nothing. Everything is all about the burden of us unifying everybody and feeding everybody. We ain't feeding nobody no more, man. We feed everybody and then we're beaten and bruised for fighting for everybody, because we've done that in the civil rights movement. We were the ones fighting for everybody's civil rights. We did that. No Africans or Caribbeans were getting unalive. They weren't being martyred in the civil rights movement. We were. Then their descendants, they turn around and tell us, well, damn it, I came over here with $2. How come I can come here with $3 and I'm doing real good and y'all been here for 500 years and y'all is not doing good? We get that. Man, we're so cool on that. We ain't doing that. No. Everybody fight. Go holler at France or whoever colonized you. No. Let me tell you something. No, we can't all sit down together, because all of these other people, especially in Africa, they sign damn deals. And all that's going to happen is those European nations are going to say, hey, Senegal, what you sitting down here for? Hey, let me show you this treaty. Remember your chiefs signed this a couple of 100 years ago? So yeah, y'all gave us the land. So what you complaining about? You signed a deal. Remember? They're going to throw them treaties in your damn face. All they're going to do is throw treaties. That's why they don't really kick and scream and fight like that over there for nothing. To be honest, they throw them treaties in your face. You signed the deal now. Yeah, we can't do anything with that. We never signed no deal. That's why it's up with us. We're the wild card. They can't come to us and say, well, you signed this. No, the hell we didn't. We didn't sign nothing. We've never legitimized you, and you owe. We have a righteous claim and a moral claim, ladies and gentlemen, that other people don't have.
Wait, before you go again, family, his global reparations idea was as illogical as his idea for the school for black boys. Is ran on emotional rhetoric, historical inaccuracies, legal impossibilities, political impracticalities, false unity framing, and psychological projection. Okay, he'll make reparations like the school opening. It'll never happen, and he'll have an excuse and blame the white man for why it never going to happen. All right. So as we but anyway, you had the Cali House and the ex-slave pension movement, 1890s family. Domestic U.S. claim for formerly enslaved Americans. That's reparations, 1890s. Then we know about Special Field Order number 15, 1865. We all talk about the 40 acres and a mule, U.S. federal redistribution to formerly enslaved Americans. I got to hear what he said about that, because I think he had even revised that one. Then we had the Freedmen's Bureau legislation, which was some can't really say reparations, but it was something. But Pan-African was nothing burger that came way later. Okay, so there was one slavery. Listen, there was no such thing as one slavery in legal terms. Okay, you have British colonial slavery, you have French colonial slavery, you have Spanish colonial slavery, you have Portuguese colonial slavery, you have Dutch colonial slavery, and you have American chattel slavery. All right. So if you think the Dutch, the Portuguese, Spanish, French, and British want to chip in on America's debt to us that went on for the longest 400 years, you out your damn mind. Okay. Why? Because each had different legal codes, different duration. Like I just said, 400 years to let's say 100 or 30. Come on now. Different compensation structures, different emancipation timelines, and different post-emancipation policies. You feel me? Britain compensation slave owners Britain compensated slave owners in 1833. The U.S. never compensated the enslaved. Haiti was forced to pay France. You see, those are different things. British compensated, they gave reparations to their slave owners. We never been compensated or given any reparations. And Haiti gave reparations to their colonizers. So it was all over the place. So those are three different legal cases. Courts don't adjudicate racial suffering. They adjudicate specific jurisdiction, specific harm, specific responsible government, specific injured class. Once slavery collapses law into poetry, nothingness. Okay. So ask Umar, who pays? If there's one pay, who's paying that? If America pays, why won't the U.S. government compensate Jamaica, Nigeria, or Brazilian descendants? Like that's his logic. But the people I named, their case ain't against the United States. It's against Britain, France, Portugal, and Spain. The U.S. have no jurisdiction over those harms. You got Donald Trump tariffing these European nations and whoever else. Man, they ain't, man. I don't know. Yeah, he thinks there's one big white man. There's one big monolithic white man. Again, you can tell Umar don't know much about reparations. Reparations require a legally defined injured class, right? So when you deal with the Japanese, as I spoke about earlier, the Japanese American internment, okay, they were U.S. citizens interned by the U.S. Okay, so you can't define global African race harmed by Western slavery. Come on, man. That is not a legal. That is not a legally cognizable class. All right. Jewish reparations were not divided because Polish Jews didn't collapse claims with Ethiopian Jews. Native American tribes sued as tribes, not indigenous humanity. Specific harm requires specific claimants. All right. So everybody, when they have their claim, they're allowed to be specific and they go along with the legalities that apply. But when it comes to us, it's always we gotta do the impossible. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Wait, what did he say about he said some wild stuff. He said some Tone Loc stuff before, some wild stuff. What did he say about it'll come back because I had it in my mind for a second. Yeah, but you need specific victims. You can't just say slavery for the entire African descendant race. That means people who were never involved, no harm. How are you gonna? You feel me? Like we already having issues over here. Imagine having a world issue. The world now the entire world got family. We just can't delineate. Our delineation got to come with the entire world. The entire African descendant world got to delineate together. Dude, stop it.
Oh, Lord, let me play the rest. Hold on.
I think they rejected
You
it.
would get it quicker.
Yeah.
You would get more because guess what? It's a united front. But because we hate each other more than we hate racism.
We don't hate nobody. Just hold your own nuts.
Now, look, family, that's gaslighting. See, I'm starting to learn this gaslighting stuff and starting to address it, but don't get gaslit. So he's saying we don't want to do the one global reparation because of hate. It wasn't because it's stupid and illogic and some fantasy Marcus Garvey repatriation to Liberia, Umar's school thing. Those are fantasies. Those are laughable. But he frames because we don't want to do something as laughable as those two events, we got hate in our hearts.
We don't hate nothing. We're just not going to let non-FBAs represent us because they do a horrible job.
Because we hate each other more than we hate racism.
See?
I don't want to unite with no black Africans. I don't want to unite with no Caribbeans. And you got Africans saying the same thing. I don't want to unite with no descendants of no slaves.
Okay, yeah, but the difference is you're telling us to unite our reparations claim about our specific government with all of the melanated world. Okay, why would they unite with? Okay, so in the reverse, why would they unite with us? What are they uniting us? It's just stupid.
Yeah, well, they come
Why
over here
can't
and
just everybody just do their own thing, man? Like it just, yeah, they wanted to lose so bad, man. That's why I just refuse to believe that these guys aren't getting paid or something. Like I just can't. Or like there's something there. They got these guys so desperate for us to just to go with the flow and just become erased altogether.
they got to eat off of us.
Right? I want to fight my own thing. So
And they don't want to fight nothing. No, that's not true.
ECOWAS got their own fight. Black British got their own fight. Canada got their own fight. Black America got their own fight. And it's sectionalized, sectarian.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody communicating with each other. So the white man going to play his old game of what? Divide and conquer.
And the main people who can get infiltrated to undermine.
So we don't want to go with this fake global reparation nothing burger. Now all of a sudden, like we support white supremacy family. They do the extreme. They go to the extreme to paint us as a wild, savage, primitive people. I mean, but then they'll claim they love us. Yeah, this means something, family. This like they want it. It almost seemed like America got what they got from us in Africa. You know how you owe a debt, you don't pay it, and a debt collector buys your debt and say, "I got it from here," and start calling you, harassing you. And the person you owe just leaves it alone, like Verizon or whatever, they just leave it alone. Your car, they'll shit, leave it alone, right? That's what's going on here. America sold whatever they got with us to Africans, and now they're Africa, and now they are like collecting the debt. Like, hey, hello, yeah, is this Harrison? Yeah, who's calling? Well, you owe a debt for. How you plan on paying? You dig? That's what's going on. That's what it seems like. It seems like Africa took over whatever debt America thinks we owe them, or whatever burden they believe we're to them. It's like Africa, like, yeah, we take it from here. Let's use them to build up our shitholes.
Us are the tethers. No, we can't unite. That's Fed talk. When folks come around us, as y'all know, when we try to get reparations, and y'all been to some of these task force meetings all over the country, family, FBA family, y'all know the main people we've been having a goddamn problem with are tethers on the damn reparations task force. Every time we go to a reparations hearing or reparations meeting, a reparations community council meeting, they got a bunch of tethers there crashing it out and undermining everything. That's been part of the problem. You understand? That the tethers have been sabotaging our damn reparations left and right. Remember when they had that televised reparations hearing? Like 2019, something like that. Who they have up there? Candace Owens, who's Caribbean and identifies as Caribbean. Coleman Hughes, who's Puerto Rican. Both people are not qualified for reparations. They up here, man, we don't need reparations. We need to stop. We need to just work hard. We don't need reparations. These are two people who aren't even qualified for it. Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need nobody who's not of our lineage misrepresenting us. All right, let me play some more. Hold on.
Separate and rule.
That's why I wanted to have a conversation about the FBA and the Pan-Africanism, because that's what's going on. Although I hear when you speak, although you're Pan-Africanist, I hear some of the stuff I hear from foundational Black Americans.
Well, remember, there's nothing wrong with advocating the rights of your unique group. A Pan-Africanist in South Africa can speak up for South Africans and still.
Family, we beat these guys into submission. Now all of a sudden, delineation is no longer divisive or xenophobic. Now they get it. They understand it. We beat these guys into submission.
Recognize the greater vision and greater goal of a united race. You see that? So as Pan-Africanists, we don't just focus on the whole. That's the goal. But we also got to take care of our people where we are. So I don't have an issue with the American African people having a Black agenda for themselves
That American African thing. Yeah, no.
Yeah, he's wild.
that they need to carry out. It's
American
only when
African.
you start criminalizing and antagonizing other Africans as if they're responsible for the condition you in. Loon.
Family, that is a projection. When we delineate, the origin was, again, hey, you're diluting our struggles that are a reflection of Jim Crow, 100 years of Jim Crow and 250 years of chattel slavery. Okay, we are in a weakened and weak position because of that, being excluded from government set-asides that were exclusively given to white Americans, while we're being deprived and blocked out, zoned out, racially zoned out of neighborhoods. We're confined to just the ghettos, is where they subjected us at. Restrictive covenants and redlining kept us in, and racial zoning laws kept us in the ghettos. Okay. Do not forget that.
There's only 3 million.
Hold on.
And let me also say this, Loon. Let us be honest. What do we know about the psychology of oppression?
Hold on.
What do you mean by that, Loon? I don't want to be the most oppressed person.
Okay, hold on.
In Black Africa and Black America, a lot of this is victim consciousness. I don't want to be the lowest. So I'm going to victimize and step on the African immigrant, because in America.
Okay, this is just a bunch of.
Yeah, at that point, family, this is horrible framework. He's literally undermining. This is honorary tether. He's literally undermining what we're doing, as though what we're doing includes immigrants. We're speaking to our government, my guy.
This is a bunch of straw man. I'm trying to get to the part where he's trying to start his own thing. Hold on.
My own trade market, stock market, rather than build myself up to compete with everybody else, I'm just going to demonize.
But what if it's
every African group in the world? Because remember now, I've met them all.
If it's about or Americans, descendants of slaves, because our Pan-Africanism,
that is inclusive of everybody. Nobody else has that. They want to make you a heap. That is inclusive of everybody. The whole. We're the only philosophy.
Hold on.
We play in the long game. And we are the only one reparation. Do you feel me, Loon? We can split it up.
No.
How we want pie.
Where's that part?
Split it up. Took some of us to
I'm trying to
the
find the
whole.
part where he's talking about he's going to start the descendants.
You ain't
of
gonna see no
Africa.
FBA on no documents. You ain't gonna see no ADOS on no documents. You ain't gonna see no Hebrew, no Moor, no Wapi, and none of that. And I love them all.
Family, when African American was introduced by Jesse Jackson, you didn't see that on documents for a couple years. So again, but he was campaigning that we be called that, and that was okay. But when it comes to us, as you know, like these Pan-Arabs, they move the goalposts.
But what the white man said in his security memorandum was what? We cannot allow night at all. Culturally,
right. Yeah.
Humans come in because slavery didn't happen to
America says.
I'm trying to find.
But my ancestors
Hold on.
do. Am I wrong? Who Jamaica want reparations from? The British.
Okay, I'm trying to find where.
Wait, so I almost got. So he revised something. Was it the ACS? He revised something, and it's on the tip of my tongue. I got that far. I start to remember. So he revised an account of history. I can't remember what part.
I'm trying to find up where he's talking about the DA descendants of
The
freedmen.
fuck.
Hold on.
The American
acronym is the
African,
fuck.
to your point, Loon, from 1770,
Has to.
ADOS, FBAs, they admit their ancestors came from Africa. They just are of the opinion that don't matter no more.
Right.
I don't know how you get there, because as the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, a people without knowledge of themselves is like a tree without roots.
Garvey wasn't about shit.
I would love to see an FBA history book for their kids. I would love to.
Family, more gaslighting. He's pretending FBA is a new group that started in 2017 and we're campaigning for reparations and delineation. Like, this is classical straw man arguments, disrespecting us. And then like asking them like in rhetorical ways. It's terrible.
See an ADOS FBA history book for children.
Someone said I got to prep better. Yeah, right here it says, he says it here, but he doesn't say it. So I thought it was already queued up, but they got it mislabeled. So that's my bad. Okay.
If they ever build an ADOS FBA school, how are y'all going to treat identity and history? Because y'all cutting yourself off from your root and you identifying with a man who's trying to get rid of you. That's the weakness of the movement, Loom.
Who is that they're identifying with?
Say that again.
Who is that they are identifying with this
Americans.
Okay.
Both of them call themselves Americans, both groups. So they're identifying with the plantation.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
We're identifying with our lineage. We are Americans. We built the culture of this country. That's why you here.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
American has nothing to do with a plantation. Okay? Actually, when we took on American, the plantation was abolished. Made illegal.
Okay, yes.
But they cut themselves off from the ancestors.
But you're here.
You see that? To me, that is from a meaningful Russia. All my black brothers and divide. They're not. It's equal. Some of the stuff I've seen.
Okay, I'm trying to find.
Since we're knocking on the door of FDMG being ready, there needs to be a progressive American African movement that looks out for the best interests of the American African people, that does not demonize our brothers and sisters abroad, and that looks.
Family, gaslighting. There needs to be a movement like ADOS, like FBA, that doesn't demonize African immigrants. Family, he's lying. There's nothing about our delineation movement or reparations call that demonizes immigrants.
Meaning, don't make them accountable.
To build relationships with them as far as that can be done. So my movement to counteract the negativity of these movements we're discussing is going to be the D.A.F.U.K movement. D-A-F-A, descendants of African freedmen in America. Remember them. After freedom came, we were known as what? Freedmen. That was a legal classification. We were the freedmen. My 3 times great-grandfather George fought in the Civil War. My 4 times great-grandfather Steve fought in the Civil War. My cousins Lewis and Charles, the sons of Frederick Douglass, fought in the Civil War. I'm a descendant of freedmen who fought to keep this country from being divided. And we have rights as freedmen, so we're fighting as descendants of African, not no American. You ain't never putting that no title, no organization of mine. Descendants of African freedmen.
So you see, those freedmen were Americans, by the way. But you see, like, his thing is personal. It's unpatriotic. He hates America. He so everything is from that angle. This is most Pan-Africans who are actually Pan-Arabs. Most of them argue from this perspective. The white man is one big monolith. You hate him forever. He's bad. He's bully, and they make him God. They make him unbeatable all of a sudden. But yeah, but everything comes back to the white man.
In America.
I like that. Do you think you're going to get pushback for even launching that?
All right.
It don't matter. I'm stronger than both of them groups put together.
Hey, you ain't strong. You stronger than a non-existent group. A non-existent group is whooping you, brother. Yeah, there is no group called FBA, and it's whooping you. FBA is not an organization, and it's still whooping you. You're getting whooped by an imaginary organization. It's a lineage, not the D.A.F.U.K movement.
That's what it's called. D.A.F.U.K, my bad, family. And the title I got, the fuck. I mean, the fuck. I thought that's what you're trying to say, like, the fuck. Yo, you gonna call us the fuck? Like, D.A.F.U.K? Like, what's the difference? The fuck, the fi, the fu, the fu. That sounds like the fuck. My bad. Okay, so it's the fu, daffa, Daffy Ducks. Yo, this acronym, the fuck, Daffy Duck, Dodo Birds. Yeah, we got jokes in this one. The fools, the fugazis. Like we got a bunch of stuff we can say with this one. The fools. Yeah, but make sure you start calling these guys when y'all be in their platform, listen to them clown and talk about how they're Egyptian. Just type in there, be like, yo, y'all leader renamed y'all DAFA, and that's short for like the fools or the fuck or the. That's a hilarious acronym.
Oh God, not Dafa. Not Dafa. Lord. Man, come on. Man. Dude, that's hilarious. That is hilarious, ladies and gentlemen. Good Lord. It's the descendants of African freedmen. Wait, what is it? The descendants of African freedmen in America? Oh, yeah. Descendants of
Hey,
African.
family, that's what I was doing. When I first heard him say it, I kept like, what is that again? Like, cause the D, the D was killing me. It's like, oh, the D stand for descendants. Like, what? What? Yeah. So basically, Adolf's without the A.
Freedmen. Hold on. Let me get wait. Let me get it again. Hold on. Let me see what he said again. Hold on. One more time. Hold on.
Descendants of African freedmen in America.
Oh, okay. There we go. Descendants of African freedmen in America. He's never going to use the American name while sitting.
But isn't that isn't that descendants? Isn't that like DOAFA? Yeah. How do you leave the O out? Like that's not even like grammatically correct. That's not grammatically correct. If you're saying it's descendants of African, wait, descendants of African freedmen. What the last A stand? What the last A stand for? Descendants of African Freedmen Association. What the assholes? What the last one stand for?
He said again. Hold on. One more time. Hold on.
Descendants of African freedmen in America.
Oh, okay. There we go. Descendants of African freedmen in America. He's never going to use the American name.
Oh, he threw the America in there.
Why descendants of African freedmen in America. He's never going to use the American name while sitting your big ass up here in America. All right. No. That stands for donuts, avocado wrap, fries, and apple cider, nigga.
Yeah, I was dying when he said that right there.
DA.F.U.K, that stands for donuts, avocado wrap, fries, and apple cider, nigga. That's what DA.F.U.K stands for. Oh, God. So he wants to start his own bootleg FBA delineation movement. All right. Let's get some history straight. Let's get some history straight, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, while I'm talking, can y'all hit that Kickstarter link, ladies and gentlemen?
And this is the thing when he's gonna break down family. So it was beautiful because where he's gonna go now, I feel so proud to say like I've been talking about this for the longest. Where he's about to go, the longest. Matter of fact, a lot of things. He did a couple premiere videos all day today and some yesterday. And had I went live earlier, this would have been like a 5-6 hour live because I was going. It just so happens like all of his premieres, he start either arguing with a tether or breaking down something that I said on my channel like numerous times. So it's just validation. For me, that's just validation that my information on this channel is relevant, and a lot of things are said before he got a chance to say it. So now when he's gonna break down what he's about to break down, I'm not gonna spoil alert it, but you guys can recognize I've been talking about this since the beginning of the summer of last year, in full depth. In full depth. Listen.
while I'm
And not
talking.
just this one. A lot of what he been saying. That's why I said joke before. Say, hey, I think Big Brother Tariq is looking at my video, and you know what I mean, coming up with some talking points, some ideas to talk about some topics, jokingly. But it did feel like that for a while, because I would just cover something, then you'll hear him go in on it. I'm like, yeah, is Tariq peeking in over here?
Please, if you hit that Kickstarter link and let's contribute to the making of Hidden Color 6, ladies and
I'm still trying to think, what the hell? What? Umar revised some history, and I can't recall it to go play it. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember.
gentlemen. We got to get that goal for Hidden Color 6. If you can hit that link while I'm talking, that'd be great, family. Let's look at history, family. Let's look at history. Let's look at Pan-Africanism. Let's look at the word African. All of that, oh, we're going to call ourselves, I would never.
Wait, hold on. Before he do that, I want to see. So that is 47. I'll come back right there. Let me see if I can catch it. 47. Because Umar said something ridiculous.
Podcast. We're going to skip through it and listen to
movement called FBA.
Okay.
Pan-Africanism and FBA.
The black man's oldest formal political ideology. We gave birth to the first free, independent black nation in the world, Haiti, right? Pan-Africanists are some of your greatest black leaders, your greatest black organizations.
What the? Yeah, he just calling everything Pan-Africanist. What does Haiti revolution got to do with Pan-Africanism?
If
like who?
you're looking at achievements, nobody compares to Pan-Africanists.
What? Okay. What are the achievements?
Yeah, he never.
See, people just say stuff and
Moors, Nawapians, gods and earths, they you can put all them together. You don't touch us.
okay, what's the okay, us?
Yeah, dude is
Us?
yeah, dude know how to cap big time, bro. I mean, so you put everybody, but he named groups that we ain't gonna really side with. Moors and I'm sorry, but we're not really doing a sovereign citizen thing.
ADOSFBA, respectfully, I'm going to go with both groups because they represent basically the same thing, but there are differences, right?
There's no group. ADOS is a group. Let's be very clear. Just
Hold up. Let me see. Well, ADOS Advocacy Foundation is a group, but when they say ADOS, they're really just describing the lineage, American descendants of slavery. All right, but I want to get right over here.
Be respectful in my home, the same way you would want for me to be.
All right, okay. Yeah, so it's not going to be here. So wasn't it over here where we were at?
let's look at the word African.
Yeah.
All of that, oh, we're going to call ourselves, I would never call myself American. Oh, that's the white man. Africans! Family, do you know, over here in North America, let's do some scholarship now. Let's get into some scholarship. Family, do you know, black people, we've been here for a long time. We've been on this land. With the Europeans, we've been here since the 1500s. But as we know, we've been here before, even before the Columbus and those people. But verifiable, when the Spanish came, we were with the Spanish. We were with the Spanish. We've always, when the Europeans got here, we were there with them, all right? Fighting them, the whole shebang. So we've been here. Family, we've never identified as African until 1770. The 17th
Family, I've been saying that I've been debating these Pan-Africans for over almost a year. Like, yeah, we ain't never call ourselves African like that. Hey, you tripping. We ain't do that shit until Jesse Jackson.
70s. We've never identified as African on this land. Nobody ever used the word African. Nobody used the word African.
Let me, yeah, he's right. And even when we called our institutions African, that was just to they did that to acknowledge their African ancestry, whatever that is, that was in them, that little tiny percentage. But they never went around calling themselves Africans. So family, again, like these Pan Arabs, these Pan African Arabs, these African Pan Arabs have been lying to us. Like they'll see the AME, the African Methodist Episcopal, and they'll see African there, and they'll pretend like they've been calling themselves African since that's the church name. That's false. They've been calling themselves Negro and colored in that church that's called African.
Until the 1770s. I'm going to say that like Umar 3 times. Nobody used the word African until the 1770s. Look it up. Come on, let's do some scholarship here. See, I like to do scholarship here. I'm going to talk slow so you can fact check everything I'm saying. We've never used the term African to describe ourselves on this land until the 1770s. Okay? In fact, the first time a person used the term Africa to describe themselves was actually in 1520. It was a Moor, Leo, I think his name, Leo Africanus, which meant Leo the African, and he was he got caught. He was up in North Africa. He got caught by the Spanish, and they took him up there. He was very intelligent, and he knew geography, and he knew how to map out the whole continent of Africa, so he was useful. So he was the first. At the time, during the Renaissance, people's names would be associated with the landmass. So that was kind of a Renaissance thing. Like Albert of Venetia, it was that type of thing. So he was like, I'm Leo of Africa. I'm Leo the African. So that the first time a person identified themselves as an African, around 1520, yeah, Africanus is just a Latinized version of African. Look up everything I'm saying, look it up in real time. Leo Africanus.
Let him cook.
That was his Christian name.
Let him
his
cook
name was
now.
Ibn something. He was a Muslim, but he converted to Christianity. Follow me. But on this land, ladies and gentlemen, the black people never used the term African to describe themselves. Never. They used Negro, black. If they came from a certain tribe, they might use a tribe. If they were part of an indigenous tribe, they would say that. But remember, when they got on the plantations, they made them stop doing that. Hey, don't identify with none of that stuff. Don't identify with that African tribe. Don't identify with those Native American tribes. Because remember, we were all meshed in. The Africans and the indigenous people here were meshed in.
Family, look at this. Look at these tethers. So this illegal tether is running from ICE, right? And look how they, he looked like straight Spanish, but look how he tied a video. This is America under President Trump. ICE agents now beginning to target the black community. Now, that's why I say that word black, family, we gotta add, take it back, repull the word back and add the proper definition. Black only refers to those who can trace their lineage to U.S. chattel slavery. If you can't do that, you're not black. You're just exactly the name your country calls you. That's what you are. Abroad, here, wherever, Mars, hell, that's who you are. So this illegal dude gets arrested by ICE and try to trigger us and say, hey, look, they're now targeting the black community. Man, that does not work, my guy. They came after you because they know exactly who they're coming to get. As I explained last time, the federal government has more resources than all of the states in America combined. Because the states in America, they are left to their own resources. So New Jersey don't tap in with California, and California don't tap in with Texas. No. But the FBI can tap in with everybody. So when they do an investigation, when they charge somebody with a crime, that's why their percentage is up in the high 90s, because of their resources. When they look for a fugitive, they find them. But if the state police, state government look for the fugitive, they never find them once they leave the state. So I say all that to say, if the federal government is chasing you, most likely they dotted all their I's, crossed all their T's, dude. You are what they say you are. And they coming to get you as an illegal alien. You're not black, and ICE is not targeting the quote unquote black community. If they are, they're not targeting the black community. They are coming in the black community to arrest illegal aliens.
Don't ever forget that. And it was deep. They were all meshed in together. Understand that. Many people identified, even though they were enslaved, they would identify with their Native American side. They would, in fact, they would get out of slavery by having freedom suits saying, hey, I shouldn't be enslaved. I know I look like a Negro, but my mother's a Native American. My mother's an Indian. So they would get out of slavery. Follow me here. I'm giving you some scholarship. Why did we start having people use the term African in the 1770s, right around that time, 1770s? Because people like to bring up this book. There was a book written by this unknown author that was found, and the book was dated back to 1782, and he said he was an African American. Why 1782? Right around that time, 1770, 1782, around that time. That's when we start seeing it. We started seeing it, ladies and gentlemen, because that was the Revolutionary War. The Revolutionary War was happening, okay? So America was fighting, the white people here, they were fighting Britain. They were fighting Britain, trying to get their sovereignty, and there were a lot of black people who was fighting in the Revolutionary War too. So a lot of the black people here started to adopt the language of the white colonists in how they were dealing with the British. The British wanted to have their own American identity outside of Britain. They didn't want to just be a British colony. So they were shedding their identity as British subjects and inventing a new identity. So a unified American political identity so they could justify their sovereignty. Got it? Y'all follow me? So a lot of black activists, they were like, well, we need a collective identity too. Since, we can't, these white supremacists are funny style, let's get a somewhat of a national identity as well. Let's say African, because the Europeans, they're familiar with Africa. You have the Dutch Africa Royal Trading Company. So they were familiar with the word Africa. That was synonymous with international trade and slave ships, and the word Africa was around. So they said, let's use the word Africa to kind of give us a nationalized identity too, the way the British are doing. Because the British, not the British, but the white Americans, they were like talking about international law, natural rights, being a distinct people. So some of the black people said, okay, we can use that same language. We are an African people, which is a continent, that's a landmass. We were shipped, we were shipped over, brought through international waters, and all of this international law conversation was in the air. And they say, okay, so since the white Americans are getting their sovereignty and getting their rights based on these international laws and this international law language, let us use the same thing. That's why they use the term African. They weren't trying to connect with Africa at all. Yeah, Prince Hall was one of the main ones using that term. Prince Hall fought in the Revolutionary War. So Prince Hall was one of the first people doing that. And he started the Prince Hall Masons out here. He got a charter from England and started the African Lodge. All right? They were naming it that for a reason. So there was a wave of using the term African right around the 1770s, 1780s, big time. The African Lodge, the African Methodist Church, they kept using the word African in all of these different things. All right. And what they would do, they would also use the colonist arguments against them in a lot of the early freedom petitions, because they were using this to get freedom or trying to get freedom. They would put out petitions, and like Prince Hall was one of the people helping to get people out of slavery. He was like, hey, look, we are the sons of Africa. We have natural rights, and We want to show the hypocrisy of the white colonists. They're fighting for liberty from Britain, and we're fighting for liberty here as an African people. So they were just using it for a political thing, and it would work for the time. It worked for a little while, it worked. But when these white supremacists started to really get their sovereignty, when they got their weight up, they were like, you know what? African just means another Negro. That means a foreign Negro. They're like, they stopped respecting the sovereignty language of it, okay? They entertained it for a minute, then shortly after, they were like, we running things over here now, so that African shit don't mean nothing. In fact, that means you're primitive. Yeah, African has become racialized now. It became racialized, all right? And what happened was, at the time, they had to stop using the Native American thing too. That was another thing, because remember, in the American Revolution, a lot of the Aboriginal people and the natives were fighting with the British. They fought on the side of the British because the British was promising, hey, listen, if we win, we're not going to expand into these Aboriginal lands. We're not going to go and decimate some of your Indian lands. We're going to kind of chill out if we win. So just rock with us and we're going to make sure you good. It was that. So a lot of Aboriginal and Native people said, okay, we'll rock with the British then. When the British got whooped on, so now there's a massive hostility towards all of the natives now. All right, now let's come on now, look up what I'm saying. All right, what didn't catch on? What didn't catch on? Okay, I don't know what you're saying, brother. Okay, just follow what I'm saying. Just somebody said that didn't catch on in large numbers. Follow me. It was something in the north. Just follow me. Listen, just learn, brother. Just learn. Just learn. All right. But they had to get away from the native thing altogether for a minute. That's why a lot of us just got lumped with the just African. It became very bad to start saying anything Native American, anything indigenous for a minute right after the Revolutionary War. You see? Because if you said you were African, that exposed more hypocrisy than just saying you're Native. See, the white revolutionaries over here, they would rationalize the genocide against the Native people. It was like land seizure, settlement, But the African identity, that made them confront the slave trade itself. When you said African, that pointed to the slave ships, that implicated European powers, that made slavery an active crime. Now, you just couldn't go muscle somebody off a piece of land. So politically, there was a reason for using the term African and getting away from the native term. You had to get away.
Yeah, so Tariq is going in. I think y'all should pay attention to this. Marvin Rowell says if the police pull us over, they're not going to ask you if you're FBA. If the police pull you over, they're going to ask for your license, registration, and insurance. Marvin Rowell. That's what they're going to ask for sure. Black my account for having it modded it or blocked. I might say I know that name South America. Why? I'm gonna give J-Man his lineage wrench. J-Man, I give you a lineage wrench. Everybody, make sure you like the video. I haven't checked the likes, but I'm thinking that we know to do that. Marvin Rowell. Let me get Rowell his. I'm like, how did Marvin lose his wrench? Like, I hardly ever de-wrench anybody. The only person I ever de-wrench was what's her crazy ass name that when I got to take her medicine? Like, she's like the last person. Only a few people I ever had to de-wrench. Like, I de-wrenched some people because I gave them wrenches, but they were not FBA. All right. Them tethers don't know. So Anthony, I'm giving Anthony a wrench. It's called a lineage wrench. That means that you are one with the lineage. All right. You can tie your lineage back to slavery. That's what the wrenches are for. It's to let you know whose family. Okay, hold on. I didn't press that wrong. Yeah, so try to pay attention to what he's saying because I'm gonna touch on this afterwards, which I did many times, but I'm gonna go in hard. Yeah, so we're like really down on likes. The likes is ridiculous, family. Like this is a serious topic. It's breaking news. Obviously, it's not brand new, but it is breaking. So do me a favor and like the video, especially if you're not going to support monetarily. Like the free way to support is just like in the video, right? There are monetary ways you can super chat or cash app $1 buys Ron, but the easiest, most free way that takes 1 second to support the channel is like in the video. We got 130 people here and only 87 likes. Like, come on, like that's crazy. The new people are here, that's FBA or riders for FBA. I give y'all lineage renters. Go ahead and like the video. Thank you.
Away from that, Indian became a liability. Yeah. For a short minute, African became a protective legal identity because a lot of the Indian nations, they were sovereign nations. So the U.S. just whooped on a sovereign nation, which was Britain. So now they're whooping on and just basically committing genocide against these native nations. And the native claims were being erased. The natives didn't have no backup, so they just committed a genocide on them. They just go wipe out a whole tribe. Oh, you native, get up out of here. And we're going to just take your land. Oh, manifest destiny, get out of here. You see? So they had to get away from that. That's why some of the black people who were identifying as native, they were waging all-out war on them, just like the Seminole War, all right? It was black people saying, hey, we're Seminoles. They had the U.S. government waging war against them, and they were fighting back and actually beating the U.S. government. That's why they don't like to talk about the Seminole War in a real way. They don't really like to talk about it the way they need to talk about it. But here's the thing. So now, after a few years up in the North, using the term African, it became a liability. It didn't work anymore because the white supremacists, they started getting their weight up, and they're like, yeah, African, yeah, we don't respect that. African, you're gonna be a slave too. Yeah, African is racialized. They made African a racialized thing, and you had people like Thomas Jefferson and people like that talking about how inferior the African race is and black people are inferior in his book, The Letters to the State of Virginia. And they started to use the African term against people. So they started doing things like having the American Colonization Society. So let's get into Pan-Africanism. See, all of these back to Africa movements, almost all of them were started by the white supremacists.
Family, I got to stop it. If y'all go through my video archives on this channel right here, you'll see that I said almost a year ago that the Pan-Africans movements, the ideology, started from white supremacists. So I said this almost a whole year ago. I went into depth. I had many, many lives. Just type in ACS in my search thing. So I'm glad that Big Brother Tariq is going over it because it's validating, like, you know what I mean? What I do is very, very relevant, and sometimes it's ahead of its time. But folks who've been rocking with me for the longest, like they know that I've been talking about this stuff for the longest. And I like when it's validated. Like it's not just random information. It's very relevant, very valuable. So yeah, wait for the likes to catch up. Thank you.
Y'all ready to go there tonight? Are y'all ready to go there tonight, ladies and gentlemen? A lot of these back to Africa movements were started by the white supremacists. They've always saw a problem with the free black people. So now, after the American Revolution, African, it functioned strategically for a minute. By the 1800s, it became dangerous. You see? It became dangerous because there was a lot of uprisings. Then you had the Haitian Revolution, so they were on alert with that. So they said, you know what, since y'all want to be African so bad, why don't y'all go back Why don't you go back to your motherland? And this was for the free black people. They wanted the free black people to go back. So you had slave owners funding the American Colonization Society. They got a couple of black people to be the front people. The American Colonization Society, that going to Liberia, that was funded not just by white people. It was funded by slave owners. Look that up. The dude who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner, Francis Scott Key, he was one of the people. All right? So they were like, since y'all African, y'all foreigners here. Since you're foreigners here and you don't like it, why don't you go on back over there? So they started the American Colonization Society to try to send people back. And there were a lot of black activists who saw the con game for what it was. Because see, the white supremacists thought, okay, these free black people, they are a threat to slavery. See, remember, the American Colonization Society was trying to send free blacks over to Africa, not the enslaved. They saw free black people as a threat. They're like, look, if you got these free black people and some of them are thriving, that's going to inspire black people on the plantation to get the hell up out of there. So we need to get these free blacks out. These free blacks are a threat. So they started this whole back to Africa nonsense that was white funded. The black grassroots at the time, they rejected it, ladies and gentlemen. The black grassroots rejected it. They were actively going around, the black grassroots were going around, hey, y'all stop that African shit. Do y'all understand? You had activists in the 1800s talking like we're talking now. Stop all that African talk. We're not African. There was a whole movement. They were showing up at the AME church and all of these places by the thousands. Up in Philadelphia, 3,000 brothers showed up, cut that African shit out, telling them, don't start that, go to Africa. We ain't from Africa. 3,000 people showed up to that church telling them, cut that Africa shit out. Look up what I'm telling you. Google, do whatever you need to do. I'm telling you, we rejected that. And the irony is, you know who one of the main spokespersons rejecting that? Frederick Douglass, who Umar is running. He got the struggle school named after. Frederick Douglass was the main person saying, hey, we ain't African. We're native here. We've been here too long. This is our land. We ain't going to no damn Africa. Frederick Douglass was the main one against that. Look that up. Frederick Douglass argued explicitly against that African talk.
So there's a few just real quick that I found. Is Pan-Africanism a tool of white supremacy? And this one right here, Pan-Africanist versus FBA and our 1960s civil rights ancestors. So you look at 5 months, but I got some stuff older than that. All right, so just let you know, I was on this early. Okay, good information.
He was like, no, y'all making the block hot with that. We got Birthright. This is our land. Harriet Tubman was talking about this is our land. Yes, Frederick was vehemently against not only going to Africa, calling ourselves African, he was against that. Look up what I'm telling you. David Walker rejected it. All of the, look up, he had the David Walker's appeal to the colored citizens of the world. They said, hey, we can use the word color, the people of color, Negro. But yeah, that African stuff, no. You're making us foreigners in a land that we cultivated. You understand? They were explicitly changing the names. They started changing the names of churches. They would change the name of schools from African to colored. They were like, hey, don't call us African. We are not African. No disrespect, but this is our land. We've always stood on lineage business. We knew then we're not guests here. We are the real Americans. We are more American than anybody because we stand on the principles of what America should be. You understand? So there was books and publications all over the United States saying, hey, that African shit, that's a pretext for these people trying to deport us. We're not foreigners. You understand? Man, even Prince Hall started getting away from that African talk later on down the line. Yeah? You had people saying, hey, we were born here. America is our home. We have watered this soil with our blood. You had Samuel Cornish, these people, the co-founder of the Freedom's Journal, talking about we are the true Americans. We're not no African nationhood. Yeah? We avoided that altogether. But I want y'all to understand something. These Pan-African movements, all of this, y'all need to go back to Africa. That started with Thomas Jefferson. In that book, when I talked about the letters to the state of Virginia, he was saying stuff to the effect of, yeah, some of the freed black people, yeah, that we might need to get them up out of here. We need to send them somewhere. They're a threat. It's going to be a race war if they sit up here. This was Thomas Jefferson saying this in the 1785. He was saying this early on. And Henry Clay and Francis Scott Key and Madison and Monroe, they were like, hey, let's send them to Liberia. You know? Abraham Lincoln was trying to send black people to Panama. Then I think Belize, it was a few places he was trying to send us. And we're like, no, I think they sent some people to Haiti, had to bring them back because they were like, people got sick and all that. They sent about 300-400 people over there. So they'd always had these little white supremacist movements of them trying to send us up out of here, all backed by the white tea supremacists. You understand? Another senator.
And then you had Garvey come behind them and try to finish the job, try to get us to Liberia. They said, all right, well, since it can't happen under a white face, let's give them a melanated, dark-skinned descendant of African guy. Maybe he can get these FBAs to Africa out the country. And he failed miserably, just like the ACS. And guess who he met with to get us out the country? The Klan. And it was the Klan. Look, he just broke down. It was some of black people in the 1800s linking up with the ACS, who was the Klan of their time, to get us to go to Africa. They failed miserably. They tried to repatriate 500,000 free blacks, and the most they got was 15,000. That's a horrible percentage. And then Marcus Garvey linked up with his modern version of the ACS, and they failed miserably. Two or three people out of 20-something million FBAs made it to Liberia, and they got deported, so they came back. So Garvey was 0 for 0. You see, so it's always some weird Pan-African, Pan-Arabs that's linking up white supremacists to get us over to Africa. And they failed because that's not, like, we know that's not our homeland. We know we're American.
Senator named Matthew Bueller. He was a former Confederate. He introduced a federal bill around 1890 to send black people to Africa because we were getting political power. Y'all look up all the dates I'm telling you. All of these white supremacists kept trying to fund movements to send us up out of here. You understand? Even the movement to keep us in the South, the Rockefellers, all these people, these philanthropists were funding some of these HBCUs, and they wanted to keep us in the South because they didn't want us to come up north and start taking over some of these other industries. So they wanted to keep us in low-wage employment positions. That's why they were funding a lot of those HBCUs in southern schools and trade schools in the South. They wanted to ensure a docile, low-wage workforce. But then when World War I happened, they needed workers in the North because you couldn't bring in them immigrants. You couldn't bring those immigrants in. So that's when we started going to the North and getting those damn Northern jobs. That's when that first Great Migration happened, because you couldn't bring them European immigrants over no more because they were from hostile nations. So now you got all these black people living in the North. Come on, y'all follow me here. I'm giving you some chronology. Follow me. So now you got all these black people in the North who weren't even supposed to be there. Just by circumstance, they're in the North. We're in the North, turning up in the North. We got the Harlem Renaissance. We turning up in the North. Now we got Garvey shows up in the North. Garvey shows up with some back to Africa. We need to go to Africa. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Oh, we need to go to Africa, guys. Oh, let's go to Africa. We're gonna talk about Garvey and his meeting with the Grand Wizard of the Klan. He met with Edward Young Clark. Garvey was getting chipped off by some of them Klan people. A lot of those white supremacists were supporting Garvey. So you got this Jamaican coming over here, having little secret meetings with the Klan, talking about we need to get up out of here.
That's a fact. And family, look who I exposed way earlier that came popular back in the news. Yes, your boy, Anton Daniels. How much? That says, family, that says 9 months ago. So y'all got to tap in, man. I'll be ahead of the curve. 9 months ago, I was already cooking on this guy, Anton Daniels. I was calling him a scammer way back then, weirdo, zesty as hell, way before his recent antics. As you can see, I'll be way ahead. I'll be way ahead.
There were other people who supported Garvey too. When Garvey got hemmed up with the mail fraud, there were other white supremacists supporting him. Ernest Cox and Theodore Bilbo. These were white supremacists, straight up and down. They were supporting him. And they were supporting former members of the UNIA, Garvey's organization. They tried to do another Back to Africa Liberia scam, where they were going to try to get us to go to Africa, and they got some of those Garvey people to try to co-sign that. Come on now. And you had some of these eugenicists, these white supremacists who were eugenicists trying to fund Back to Africa movements for us. A dude, Draper, around 1937, he founded the Pioneer Fund. And he financed a Back to Africa. Look up Wycliffe Draper, ladies and gentlemen. He funded a Back to Africa movement. This was a straight up eugenicist and a white supremacist. Why are all these damn white supremacists funding these damn Back to Africa movements? And in the 1960s, and hell, in the 1950s, the CIA was funding a lot of Pan-African organizations, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah? Look up the American Society of African Culture. That was funded by the CIA. That was another one of these Pan-African organizations. What they did, they would fund these groups to do these apolitical cultural festivals, all right? They didn't want anybody to think like a revolutionary. All the revolutionaries started to get neutralized. So what they would do, the CIA would fund all of these Pan-African groups to basically focus just on African culture, putting on dashikis, playing drums, rubbing shea butter on, doing tribal dances. They would fund that with a blank check. Just go over there, dance, be apolitical, don't talk about nothing political, tap back in, find your culture, go over there to find yourself. Go over there and eat some bush meat. Go over there and eat some egusi. You understand? That's what they were doing. They were like, just go over there and just get into cultural festivals. The CIA was funding this. Look this stuff up that I'm telling you. Look this stuff up. Yeah. You're not going to be no threat, but go over there and get intel. You do all that cultural stuff, and people who join this organization, who's talking anything about politics or revolution, make a little dossier for it. Get a little dossier on them and give us their information. You see? That's all that year of return stuff they do now. It's just like, you go over there, eat some egusi, come back. Just like Umar. Umar went over there, got citizenship, did a little ritual, and brought his ass right back over here. You go over there, get citizenship, eat some jollof, and then come back. Okay? And then talk about how you ain't going to identify with America. Then why are you over there? I would never identify as an American.
Oh my God.
Then why are you coming back? How come you ain't over there building Wakanda and all that shit? You know? Let me tell you something. See, Pan-Africanism, ladies and gentlemen, they treat Pan-Africanism as a religion. Pan-Africanism is a religion, and you don't have to deliver anything.
Hello? Who's been here since day one? Is that not my talking point almost a year ago? I said Pan-Africanism is a religion, and they treat Africa as God. They treat Africans as holy angels. And I said they treat FBA's Black Americans as the lost sheep who needs guidance back to Africa. And the Africans are our angels, and they're saving us from the evil whitey man who has us brainwashed. That's exactly what I said almost a year ago. I said Pan-Africanism is a religion to these guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, they treat Pan-Africanism as a religion. Pan-Africanism is a religion, and you don't have to deliver anything. Yeah? It's a religion, and then Africa itself becomes heaven. It's the promised land that you never get to. See, they treat Africa like some religions treat the afterlife. It's a perfect future destination. It absolves people from fixing material conditions right now. It's just like heaven. It's coming later. You don't have to require no measurable progress, no housing, no education, no land ownership, no political power, nothing. Oh, one day we're going to go back to the motherland, and we're going to sit on our throne in the motherland. Yeah. It's like Akon City. Oh, yeah, it's always some big, Akon City is going to be flying saucers and bushmeat floating. You could just grab bushmeat out the air. Come on, man. Yeah, we cool on that shit. Yeah, the faith, it replaces accountability. See, they frame the Pan-Africanism in the spiritual language, awake by consciousness return, the year of return, and see, they use Africa as an abstract. It's an abstract. It's mythologized. So you're going to go over there and just all this beautiful land, and you're going to walk with the animals. You're going to be barefoot picking.
Yo, who are those grumpy people in the chat that won't click that like button? We're like 40 likes down from being successful, where everybody enjoyed the live stream. Who are those 40 stubborn, grumpy FBAs who like, I ain't gonna support, man. I'm too lazy to support. Go hit the like button.
Getting berries, and you're going to have 8 wives. Oh, it's going to be so beautiful. Oh, you're going to be walking barefoot in the beautiful grass, and it's just going to be so go back to our throne. And you get over there and step in some human shit, and it's going to be musty. They're not telling you the truth. No, I'm not dissing anybody, but let's stop playing games. Let's stop playing games. They treat it like a religion.
Bruh.
It's an abstract heaven. You understand? And if you criticize heaven, what is that? Oh, see, you can't, with the Pan-Africanists, you can't criticize heaven. Yeah. Oh, that's heresy. Oh, if you go over there and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm over here. It stank, and I don't really like the food. And somebody just tried to scam me out of some money, and people are musty. This don't seem like heaven. How dare you talk about the motherland?
I'm telling you, man.
How dare you talk about your motherland? You can't say that about the motherland. I can't say this thing is musty and he tried to scam me. I can't say that. I can't. We can't do that. You want to be with the white man
All the rich,
because I don't want to go and get
what they say,
scammed. Come
elements
on,
and
man.
in the grand.
We
Africa's
can't
the richest.
criticize it or tell the truth. That messes up the
The rich
religious
minerals.
framing of it. I can't say, hey, why is this dude shitting on a sidewalk? I can't say nothing. Don't say that. The white man tricked him. Okay.
You want to say
the
about
white
the
man
white
give him
man?
some toilet paper because he didn't wipe his ass. I mean, damn, can we do something about this? Come on. Listen, that Pan-African talk is done. It's done. We are foundational Black Americans. This is it. We're getting tangible results here. We built this land. We're on our homeland right now. And we're standing on lineage business just like Frederick Douglass stood on lineage business. Just like Harriet Tubman stood on lineage business, just like David Walker and so many others stood on lineage business. You understand? So that's what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. We're standing on lineage business and don't owe nobody nothing, and we're not going to be shamed. Family, everybody, can you click the link below? Let me show you where we are as far as the Hidden Colors 6 crowdfunding campaign, ladies and gentlemen. We need everybody to get involved, ladies and gentlemen. We need you to get involved with the Hidden Colors 6 campaign. Come on, fam. We need the family to get involved with the Hidden Colors 6 campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to get the film done until everybody get involved right here. Y'all click on the link in the chat below. Click on the link in the profile and let's get this up. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of people in here. Let's get this up so we can get this movie completed, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it will be greatly appreciated. All right, I'm up out of here, family. It's been real. All right, Papi Akute, Lolo Vuve to the family. I'm gonna be on, I do a TikTok space tonight, so y'all join me for the TikTok space. But hit that Kickstarter link right now, please.
All right, all right. So that was hilarious. Let me give some more information with the whole history of Back to Africa. Hilarious. Yeah, so make sure that you guys go ahead and like the video. And he's not lying about the bush meat. Okay. Where's the volume? Hold on. So this is Africa themselves, right? Talking. Okay. Is arguably the biggest dog market in Nigeria. Okay, I don't know where the audio's at, but we're gonna rock with our audio. Okay, let's see. So the bushmeat is not being xenophobic. It isn't being divisive. In central Nigeria's plateau, dogs are eaten as traditional delicacy. And this dog looks like, look, it's malnutritious. They feed it worms. Okay, well, I want y'all to read the caption. This is bushmeat. Okay, so the dog suffer 25 hours, 48 hours. All mountain trail. You know that thing stink. Dogs poop everywhere. Look at this. She was talking some reckless stuff right here. Trying to convince you to be big, strong, and healthy. Eat a dog. Yeah, she look rough as hell. Look at this dog falling all over. What the kind of dog is that? And he's talking about eating dogs. Look, if you are eating dog meat, so we're not trolling, being divisive. Yo, why is this dog? Look at this dog. Yo, and they eating this stuff, man. Okay, they didn't want to pretend that if we speak about it, we're being divisive, xenophobic, and all these fancy words they be coming up with. All right. So, just real quick. So Tariq was talking about the American Colonization Society, which is called the ACS, right? It was founded in 1816. That's when it was founded, 1816. All right. Um, now now it was started by Quakers, abolitionists, and slave owners, right? So slave owners, racist slave owners were indeed involved with the ACS, American Colonization Society. They wanted free blacks, just the free blacks. There was in between 300 to 350 to 500,000 free blacks, and they wanted to bring them all to Liberia. So they established a colony in Liberia and was like, let's ship all of them over there. Just the free blacks. They were not interested in anybody enslaved. And the free blacks were a couple reasons. They knew that they were free and they had no rights still. They had no citizenship, and they knew they were getting close to, like, protesting and demanding it. So they were trying to get ahead of the curve. Prophylaxis. Let's get rid of these people because we see where it's going. You got Biddy Mason suing for her freedom. You got Dred Scott suing for his. They see where it's going, right? So that was a thing, right? They wanted folks out. Now, there was a great resistance. We're always resisting. I think Tariq theme for his Hidden Color Six is resistance. I have a song months ago called Resistance. Again, your boy be ahead of the curve. Now, in January 1817, just weeks after the ACS was formed, over 3,000 free black people gathered at Mother Bethel AME Church in Philadelphia, the largest meeting of black people in America, in American history up to that point. So this is before the Million Man March, before the March on Washington. The largest group of black folks coming together were to stop this repatriation to Africa. So the largest group to form up until then were saying, we're not going to Africa, my guy. We're not African. All right. They overwhelmingly rejected the ACS, calling it a cruel and predatory plan to exile them from their birthright. Family, we said America was our birthright. What the hell is that guy talking about? Umar, Dr. Fool Johnson. Okay. Those free blacks argued that their ancestors, listen to the language, family, their ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears had watered the American soil. So, because of that, they refused to abandon their enslaved brothers and sisters for a colony in a land they had never seen. That was the spirit of the early FBAs, who I call, well, I don't say spirit, I say the glow. I call the FBA glow. And the glow, just think of Last Dragon, Bruce Leroy showing up. That is the FBA glow. We have that. Okay, you can't see with the naked eye, but it's felt around the world. Okay, so check this out. So you had names with African in them, right? Richard Allen started the AME Church, the African Methodist Episcopal Church. So with the name African in the church, Pan-Africans, who are really Pan-Arabians, they took that and ran with it and made a whole doctrine. Okay. Now, ACS members, the Quakers, abolitionists, and slave owners, they argued against that if black people called themselves African, they were admitting they weren't American and therefore had no legal right to stay. So Tariq Nasheed was spot on. They was like, what you call yourself? African. Okay. All right, we got deport you. That's how they were doing those free blacks. What are you? Say that one more time. I ain't hear you. Say it a little louder. Did you say African? They're like, nah, I said black again. I ain't say African because they knew what the play was. So he was right. So yeah, nobody was calling themselves African. And that led to the 1830s National Negro Convention movement, where leaders urged the community to drop the word African and adopt colored American or oppressed Americans to secure their legal anchor in the U.S. soil. Okay, so how did people feel about that? So people felt like choosing colored American, that was signaling to the government, we're not Africans temporarily here. We are the Americans who built this place and we're staying for the payout. Okay. That's how haters took that. But at the Rochester Convention in 1853, Frederick Douglass and others didn't just talk, they established a national council. So you got to ask Umar, who got Frederick Douglass in his name of his school, alleged school. What is the National Council? What was that about? Family, the National Council was designed was designed to act as a black government within a government to manage the economic and social affairs of our lineage. You dig? The council's main goal was to establish a manual labor school to ensure blacks held the mechanic arts and trades, which they viewed as the only path to real capital and independence. That's the National Council. Most importantly, that council was the protection of the native born black population, as they were the ones whose labor had been stolen to build the nation's 19th century financial power. Okay. Now, remember, Turk Nasheed said in the early 1700s, the term African was being used. Free blacks did frequently use the word African to describe their institutions, like I said earlier, institutions like the African Society, the African Lodge, and the AME, the African Methodist Episcopal Church. And they did that because that was their way to claim a heritage of ancient civilization and dignity in the face of American Negro labels, right? They were being rebellious. But again, once the ACS started to like, oh, you African? So, everything Tariq Nasheed said was spot on. Okay. So the ACS was like, oh, you call yourself African? All right, well, let's take you out to, all right, we're gonna help you get, we ain't gonna ask you to go back to Africa. We're gonna help you get to Africa. And they literally did that. They started the American Colonization Society. Now, who else saying they African? And of course, if people truly felt like they were African, they'll be like, I go, right? Because they're leaving America, right? But that was not the case. Once that word got out, many black leaders stopped calling themselves African in public, as you can imagine. They shifted to terms like colored American or, yo, check this word out. This is, y'all gonna die. They shifted to words like colored American or Anglo African to emphasize their right to stay in the U.S. So like before, this is all before the 14th Amendment, of course, 1868. Free blacks were um, legally, I don't know how you get, they were able to roam, but they had no citizenship. Like they had the right to legally stay in America and roam and do their thing, do business, but they were not American citizens just yet. Right? Um, what else? Now, family, there's a floating lie where I called out retarded Reggie on. there's no 1790 of anybody saying they were African American. I think I got Reggie on that one, and he was. If I could be wrong. Maybe he just said African. But let me just say this: if he said African American, then he's done. Right? But nobody before 1868 called themselves an African American. You'll hear people lie, spread rumors. Okay. So anyway, Tariq talked about Richard Allen. Let's talk about Richard Allen. Okay. So they was against the ACS. Yeah, if I could just shorten it up. They bragged about being American and they emphasized about being American. And like I said, until 1868, the community was in a state of legal limbo. Physically American, but legally non-American. Your feels like it and in between. Okay, so when the 14th Amendment was finally passed, it was the fulfillment of the 1817 Manifesto. It legally anchored the American Negro to the soil that they had built, ending the ACS's dream of a mass exodus. That's so so they so the 14th Amendment killed their hope to get us to Liberia. Now you see why a lot of these Confederates, conservatives are anti-government, anti-Black Americans. Because like Dr. Clark Anderson said, if y'all remember in his Paranomics 2001 speech at that church, he said white race's number one op is the American government because he said they saved Black people twice. They saved us from chain slavery and legal Jim Crow with the civil rights movement. So yeah, like I said, 1830, the National Negro Convention movement that Frederick Douglass was part of, they said, nah, don't call me African. Don't call me that. And another day I will go extra hard and deep there. Tonight was about what it's about. And but again, I will go really hard on this stuff by itself. Probably, who knows, maybe tomorrow. Something like that. Everybody all right? Thank you guys for pulling up. Yeah, but we listen, it ain't over. We got some good stuff to talk about tomorrow. Like I said, about 5 premieres he did was about things I talked about. So, and he put his spin onto it the way he addressed it. I think it's dope. And some other things I did not know about. He talked about something that I was unaware of. I had to research. I said, "Oh shit, I didn't know about that," but I know about it now, and that will be alive in that one. Let me see if everybody liked the video. Okay, anybody like the video? Let's see. Could load up, damn it. Okay, laptop don't want to load up now, so I can't see the views. That was cute. Who put a bug on my laptop? Hmm. Where the lights at? I can't even see. Where the lights at? Hmm. Yeah, but I got a lot of stuff to cover. So, and then who knows what his live's about tomorrow. But I know the few he drops on topic, what I'm dealing with right now. So it's gonna be a dope, dope live. I got some other tethers talking about bush meat. I got some funny stuff. I got Karens crashing out. Yeah, so like, subscribe, notification bell, stay tuned in, super chat, donations are welcome, and the Cash App is right there, $ unbiased Ron is the Cash App. It's easy to remember. Cash App anytime, not only when I'm on live, whenever you feel like it, because you are supporting, literally. I told my family that I pay for Gemini and ChatGPT, and it's because I wanted to. So if the family, I ain't putting that on y'all, but if the family wanted to lighten my burden, then $ by Ron is right there. And there you go. So I'm gonna end it with the outro song. It's a dope song. Check out the lyrics. It's called Nobody Prayed For Us. The lyrics is deep though.
They brought us to this country as a labor force. We built a foundation and they hate us for it. They hate us for it. We built a foundation and they ain't pay us for it. They ain't pay us for it, but they gon' pay for it. Already prayed for it. Non-believers didn't pray for us. Non-believers didn't pray for us. We're black and we built a foundation. Stone by stone, generation to generation. Vultures said we had no culture. Them vultures got a Jay-Z poster. Them vultures got a lacy culture. Vultures eat what they didn't kill. Vultures sleep what they didn't build. They brought us to this country as a labor force. We built the foundation and they hate us for it. We built the foundation and they ain't pay us for it. They ain't pay for it, but they gon' pay for it. Already paid for it. Nobody prayed for it. Nobody didn't pray for us. Nobody didn't pray for us. We're black and we built the foundation. Stone by stone, generation to generation. Vultures said we had no culture. And vultures got a Jay-Z poster. Them vultures got a